Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Adhyanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. So, welcome back to Wisdom of Srimad Bhagavatam. After a festive break, we had wonderful celebration of Balaram Purnima, then Janmashtami, as well as Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, and Shri Radhashtami is coming next week. So, let us continue on our Srimad Bhagavatam now. So, we are on this chapter 7 currently, but because we took a break for 2 weeks, I'll give a little bit longer summary of chapter 7. So, chapter 7 of the first canto is called The Son of Drona Punished. So, it's a longer chapter, around 58 verses. So, we couldn't finish it last time in the last session. And we have taken around half of the chapter till 26th of verse we have completed. So the plan is to actually complete this chapter today. So at the beginning of this chapter 7, we saw that Shaunaka Rishi asked Suta Goswami that what did Vyasadeva do after Narad Muni departed from Badrikashram? After their wonderful discussion where Narad Muni had explained about his life story and how he became a devotee in his previous life, how he was a son of a maid servant, all of that wonderful pastime has been explained. So after understanding all of this and after receiving the advice from Narad Muni, what has Vyasadeva done? So this is the question which Shaunaka Rishi has asked Suta Goswami. So Suta Goswami starts speaking that Vyasadeva sat for the meditation at the river Saraswati. This is as per the instruction from Narad Muni. Narad Muni said that you meditate on the Supreme Lord and then write everything. And in his meditation, Vyasadeva saw the Supreme Lord, of course, as well as his material energy. He also saw the living entities who were misidentifying themselves and because of that, they were suffering in illusion. So he also understood that all of these people are suffering, and their suffering can be easily removed by uh, by offering devotional service to Adhokshaje, to the Supreme Lord. But people do not understand this. Lokasya ajanato. So they do not understand how to actually remove their suffering. And that is why, out of the causeless mercy, Vyasadeva has compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. And the process is very simple. Just by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Yasya vai Manayam Krishna Paramapurushe. Just by hearing Krishna Katha. So, the Srimad Bhagavatam, which contains Krishna Katha, just by hearing that, what is going to happen is that Bhakti Utpaddate Pumsa. So, Bhakti is going to sprout within the heart of the people in general, Pumsa. And then what will happen? Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. So, Shoka means lamentation, Moha means illusion, and Bhaya means the fear. All of that will be gone. So this is such a simple process, but people do not know. So that is why he has compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Vyasadeva revised. He had already written Srimad Bhagavatam before. So he revised it to focus mainly on Lord Shri Krishna and focus on the process of bhakti. This is as per Narad Muni's instructions to him. And then he taught it to Shukadeva Goswami. So that is when Shaunaka Rishi asks that how is it that Shukadeva Goswami, who is a liberated person, he was interested in Srimad Bhagavatam because Vyasadeva had just mentioned that the Srimad Bhagavatam will remove the Shoka Moha Bhaya from the people's heart. But Shaunaka Rishi knows that Shukadeva Goswami doesn't have any Shoka Moha Bhaya. So why he was interested and why did he learn Srimad Bhagavatam from Vyasadeva? So that is the question that he asks. So that is where then Suta Goswami mentions this Atma Rama verse where he says that all kinds of liberated souls, all kinds of Atma Ramas, which are liberated souls, they are interested in Krishna Katha because Krishna Katha is transcendental. So Krishna's qualities, Lord's qualities are transcendental and therefore they can attract everyone, including the liberated souls. And that is how Shukadeva Goswami was also attracted towards Srimad Bhagavatam, and then he learned it from Vyasadeva, his father. And this is where Sutta Goswami has completed answering the question related to Srimad Bhagavatam, that when, where, why, and on whose inspiration Vyasadeva had compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. And then he starts answering, Sutta Goswami starts answering another question which was related to Parikshit Maharaj. That Shaunaka Rishis had asked, please tell us about his birth, his activities, and his renunciation. So that is the question now Sutta Goswami has started answering. And he starts this pastime of Parikshit Maharaja's appearance at the end of Mahabharata war. So he mentions that at the end of the Mahabharata war, Aśvatthāmā had become the chief of the Kaurava army. All the other warriors had fallen. So he was made the chief and he killed 5 sons of Draupadī. But unfortunately, he did not kill them in the war, but he killed them while they were sleeping at night in their own camp. So this was a heinous act that he performed. And forget about Pandavas being angry, even Duryodhan was also very unhappy by this activity of Aśvatthāmā. So then he says, Sutta Goswami continues and mentions that when Draupadi and Pandavas found that these 5 sons were killed, then they were very devastated. And Draupadi started crying. To pacify her, Arjuna took a vow that he will behead Aśvatthāmā, and then on the head she can stand and then take bath. So after saying this, Krishna and Arjuna, they took their chariot and they started chasing. Aśvatthāmā. Actually, this is quite an interesting point where Krishna has appeared for the first time in live action in Srimad Bhagavatam. And amazingly, he appears in the same way as he appeared in Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita as well, he appeared as a charioteer of Arjuna. In Srimad Bhagavatam as well, in the first time when he's appearing in the live action, that he is doing some action there, he has appeared as a charioteer of Arjuna. So we can see that in both main scriptures, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Shri Krishna has appeared as a servant of his devotees. This is the glory of serving the devotees, that even the Lord wants to appear as a servant of the devotees. Not only that, he appeared like he had made the first appearance. First appearance is quite important. We discussed when we were discussing about Bhagavad Gita that when a hero's entry comes in a movie, it is like very dashing, dynamic, something like a lot of footage is given to that. So such a entry is happening for Lord Shri Krishna, and in both main scriptures, he has decided to appear as a servant of the devotees, his own devotees. So that is the glory of serving the Vaishnavas. So Arjuna and Krishna are now chasing Aśvatthāmā. Aśvatthāmā saw that both of them are coming towards him, so he starts fleeing. So he takes his own chariot, and out of fear he starts running. But then after some time, his horses are tired, they are exhausted, and then he understands that his end is going to be very, very near. So out of that fear and to save himself, very immaturely, he invokes Brahmastra and releases it. He was immature because he was trying to save himself without worrying about the entire universe, because the Brahmastra has the potency to kill the entire universe, and he did not have the ability to retract it. So, say suppose after Arjuna is killed by that Brahmastra, he should be able to retract it, but he did not have that ability. And because of that, then it had the potency to even annihilate the entire universe. So this is what happened, that Aśvatthāmā, out of his self-protection, very immaturely, he has released the Brahmastra out of fear. So when this glaring and very fierce light is appearing and coming towards Arjuna, Arjuna thought that his own life is in danger. So when his life was in danger, Aśvatthāmā fired the Brahmastra. But when Arjuna's life was in danger, what he did, he took shelter of Lord Shri Krishna. So this is the difference between a devotee and non-devotee. And he offered wonderful prayer. He mentioned to Lord Shri Krishna that you are the ultimate shelter for all the devotees. You are Bhaktanam Abhayankaraha. That for all the devotees, you are the remover of their fear. Not only that, you are transcendental, you are beyond the three modes, but out of your own mercy, you still perform dharma, artha, kama, moksha to set an example in front of everyone. And the only reason for your appearance is to actually remove this burden from earth of all the demoniac people, as well as to benefit your friends and especially your devotees. So that is your reason for coming down to this material world. And then he asked the important question that he wanted to ask after offering the prayer, that where is this effulgence coming from? Where is this dangerous effulgence coming from? So this is where we had finished last week. So we will now continue. So here we will start from text number 27. So 27th verse is where Lord Shri Krishna is answering this question now from Arjuna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Vetatthedam Dronaputrasya Brahmam Astram Pradarshitam Naivasau Veda Samharam Pranabada Upasthite. Yes, Mantra, please go.
Hare Krishna Guruji. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Know from me that this is act of the son of Drona. He has thrown the hymns of nuclear energy, Brahmastra, and he does not know how to retract the glare. He has helplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death." Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you, Prabhuji. So Lord Shri Krishna, in this one verse, he has summarized the entire situation, what has happened. He has answered the Arjuna's question that where is the effulgence coming from? So he mentioned Aśvatthāmā has fired the Brahmastra. But he does not even just say that Aśvatthāmā has fired the Brahmastra. He gives the entire situation. He says that he does not know how to retract it, and he was helpless, and he was very afraid of his imminent death. So out of his fear and being helpless, at that time he has fired this Brahmastra even though he did not know how to retract it. So Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that this Brahmastra is a subtle type of a weapon. It is like a nuclear bomb, but it is more subtle than that. Why? Because the Brahmastra can be invoked by chanting the mantras. So chanting some hymns, the Brahmastra can be invoked. So that is why it is a subtle science. But at the same time, Srila Prabhupada says it is not spiritual, it is still material. Let's go to the next verse. Na hyasyanattamam kinched astram pratyavakarsanam jayhastrateja unnadham astradnyor hyastratejasa.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. O Arjuna, only another Brahmastra can contract this weapon. Since you have expert in the military science, subdue this weapon's glare with the power of your own weapon. Hare Krishna.
So here is the solution. So he explained first where is that effulgence coming from? Arjuna did not ask for a solution, but Krishna, out of his mercy and out of his love for Arjuna, has already given a solution as well to the problem. What he's saying? He's saying that the solution is counteracting this Brahmastra so the Brahmastra can be counteracted by another Brahmastra. So subdue this weapon which was fired by Aśvatthāmā by firing your own Brahmastra. And Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that how Brahmastra is more advanced than nuclear weapon. The nuclear weapon, like the atom bomb, cannot be counteracted by firing another atom bomb. You can't counteract an atom bomb by, like some atom bomb has fired by some country on another one. They can't fire another atom bomb to subdue that other previous one. Both the atom bombs will actually create devastation. But Brahmastra is different. Brahmastra can be counteracted by another Brahmastra. Text 29. Suta uvacha Shrutva Bhagavata Proktam Phalguna Paraviraha Spruštva Pastam Parikramya Brahmam Brahmastram Sandate. Who wants to read? Yes, go ahead, Pāṇḍavas.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sri Suta Goswami said, hearing this from the personality of Godhead, Arjuna touched water for purification, and after blooting wrote Shri Krishna, he cast his Brahmastra weapon to counteract the other one. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So this is a very wonderful verse number 29. Now you can imagine this is an emergency situation. Now previously as well, when he saw this effulgent glare coming towards him, to Arjuna, and it was very fierce, and he felt that his life was in danger, and he wanted to ask our Krishna that, oh Lord, where is this effulgence coming from? But at that time, what he did, he wonderfully first offered some prayers, and then he asked, oh Krishna, where is this effulgence coming from? Now here as well, he knows now the solution. It is not that immediately he started firing this Brahmastra to save himself. he was like Bhaktanam Abhayankara. He knew that Krishna is here. Krishna is going to protect me. So where is the hurry? Where is the question of giving up the Vaishnava etiquette? So what he did, even in case of this emergency, he first touched the water. Touch the water means he did an achman. Then after doing achman, because any Vedic mantras that you want to chant, you have to first do an achman. Then what he did, he circumambulated Krishna. So Krishna is sitting on the chariot. So he got down. He went around Lord Shri Krishna by circumambulating him, and only then he chanted the hymns to fire his own Brahmastra. So this is such an important point to learn from Arjuna, that our Vaishnava etiquettes we should never give up. In our day-to-day life, what happens is when we are in hurry, and even if we are not in hurry, because just because of our familiarity, in the name of closeness with our teachers, with our elders, with our gurus, etc., we give up our etiquettes. But here Arjuna is teaching us this wonderful quality that in no circumstances we should give up our etiquettes. So Arjuna has cast the Brahmastra and he is showing us also through his own example how to follow the etiquettes. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions about Sanatana Goswami in Antya Leela. He says, Tathapi Bhakta Swabhava Maryada Rakshan Maryada Palan Hai Sadhura Bhushan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so pleased with Sanatana Goswami that he is saying that it is the characteristic. Tathapi Bhakta Swabhava. Tathapi Bhakta Swabhava. Swabhava means it is a characteristic of a devotee. What is the characteristic? Maryada Rakshan. To protect the Vaishnava etiquette. So if it is a characteristic, then if we do not do that characteristic, then that means we are not that substance. So without Vaishnava etiquette, we are not Vaishnavas. It is a swabhava of a Vaishnava. And Maryada Palana hai Sadhura Bhushan. Bhushan means it is an ornament. It increases the attractiveness of a Vaishnava. So it is a characteristic and it is an ornament of a devotee. So we can learn here that a devotee should never give up the Vaishnava etiquette. Following the etiquette is the characteristic and ornament of a devotee. It increases the attractiveness and it defines a Vaishnava when he is following the perfect Vaishnava etiquette. So we should never give it up. If we are a Vaishnava, we should never give it up. We should always follow our etiquette. Okay, let us continue. So, 29th verse we have seen. Let us go to number 30. Let us read the translation directly. Yes, Bhageshwari Mataji.
When the rays of the two Brahmastras combined, a great circle of fire, like the disk of the sun, covered all outer space and the whole firmament of planets.
So what happened? That these now two Brahmastras are there in the sky. One fired from Aśvatthāmā and one fired by Arjuna. And it is explaining now the next verse, and this verse is explaining what happened after these two Brahmastras were fired. So it was a great circle of fire that was created, and the whole sky, the entire firmament of planets, means the entire ether, was covered by this fire. Let us read further. Bhageshwari Mataji, you can continue and read the next translation as well.
Okay, Prabhuji. All the population of the three worlds was scorched by the combined heat of the weapons. Everyone was reminded of the Samvartaka fire, which takes place at the time of annihilation.
Yeah. So what happened was these two weapons were fired on earth. But the entire planetary systems, the upper, lower, and this middle one, all the people in all three planetary systems, they were scorched by the heat of these two Brahmastra. So that was the power of the Brahmastra weapon. And it was like Samvartaka fire at the time of annihilation. People started thinking, oh, there is going to be annihilation now of the entire universe because of these two Brahmastras. Let's go to the next verse. Prajopadravam alakshya lokavyatikaram chatam matam cha vasudevasya samjahara arjunodvayam. Yes, Sudharma Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thus, seeing the disturbance of the general populace and the imminent destruction of the planets, Arjuna at once retracted both Brahmastra weapons as Lord Shri Krishna desired.
Thank you, Mataji. So another very wonderful verse that showing that is showing quality of Arjuna. He saw the disturbance of general population, that the entire three planetary systems, the population there were disturbed, and he could see that there is an imminent destruction of all the planets. That these two Brahmastra is going to destroy the entire universe. So seeing all of that, Arjuna retracted both the Brahmastra because that was the desire of Lord Shri Krishna. So Arjuna is doing all his activity as per the desire of Lord Shri Krishna. This is important. A devotee should be acting as per the desire of Lord Shri Krishna. He should not be thinking for his own sense enjoyment or sense gratification, what is good for me, what is enjoyable for me, what is pleasurable for me. Instead of that, he should be thinking, how can I serve Lord Shri Krishna? What is Lord Shri Krishna's desire in this situation? And we can know Lord Shri Krishna's desire through his representative, which is our Guru. So the Guru's desire, we should try to fulfill as much as possible, as much as we are able to do it. The best is to do it fully, but because of our conditioned nature, I'm saying that we should do as much as possible in our current situation. So that is what is going to please the Supreme Lord. So Arjuna has retracted both the weapons. Aśvatthāmā did not know how to retract it. But Arjuna not only retracted his own weapon, but he also retracted the weapon from Aśvatthāmā as well. Srila Prabhupada actually mentions quite interesting purport here. He says, Srila Prabhupada mentions that atom bombs cannot annihilate the world. Two reasons he gave. One, because atomic energy is not powerful enough. And the second one is, which is the main reason, he's saying that the creation and destruction depends on the supreme will of the Supreme Lord. And it is without his sanction, nothing can be built or destroyed. And the destruction doesn't depend on the whims of tiny politicians. So he says that just the tiny politician thinking that I will destroy the world and fires atom bombs, it doesn't mean that the entire universe or entire world is going to be destroyed. Because if the Lord desires, only then the destruction can happen. If Lord doesn't desire, even when Aśvatthāmā has fired the Brahmastra, it still got counteracted and everyone was saved. 33. Tat asadya tarasa darunam gautami sutam babandha marshatam raksha pashum rashanaya yatha. Mamendra Prabhuji and then Adi Devi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Arjuna, his eyes blazing in anger like two red balls of copper, dexterously arrested the son of Gautami and bound him with ropes like an animal. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So Arjuna is very angry, and that is why his eyeballs were like red, like balls of copper. So in his anger, because of course the sons were killed. 5 sons are killed, including like Pandava's sons, including his own son has been killed by Aśvatthāmā. On top of it, he's not even acting like a Kshatriya, he's running away. So that also increased the anger. On top of that, he has fired the Brahmastra, which was going to annihilate the entire world. So not only he destroyed or killed the 5 sons, he was now ready to destroy the entire world. And Arjuna became very angry. And his anger is explained here that his eyeballs were red like balls of copper. And in his anger, he arrested Aśvatthāmā, and he bound him with the ropes like an animal is bound. Now, actually, Brahmanas are not treated like an animal. Like, even if Brahmanas commit some particular crime, then they are still treated respectfully. But because the activities of Aśvatthāmā, they were so heinous that he was not acting like a Brahmana, he was acting like an animal. So that is why Arjuna decided to treat him like an animal. He was treated as such. So he was tied like an animal by a rope, and that is how he is now bringing him back. 34. Let's read the translation directly. Adidevi Mataji.
After binding Aśvatthāmā, Arjuna wanted to take him to the military camp. The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to angry Arjuna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So in this verse, there's a quite contrast which is mentioned as compared to the previous verse. Can you identify the contrast which I'm talking about from the previous verse and this verse? Yes, Paminder Prabhuji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, in the last verse, it was like anger and like mode of passion and mode of ignorance over there. But in this verse, that has shifted to Lord Sri Krishna's eyes. So there might be a calming effect for Krishna, just to.
That's right. So in the previous verse, Arjuna was angry. Now Krishna and Arjuna both are angry. Arjuna's eyes were explained in the previous verse like they were red balls of copper. Whereas here, Krishna is also angry, but his eyes are explained as lotus eyes. So Srila Prabhupada explains this entire purport is written on Krishna's eyes. Srila Prabhupada is explaining in this purport that Krishna's eyes are called lotus eyes even in his anger, but Arjuna's eyes were considered as red copper balls. Why is that? Because Lord is always transcendental to the material modes. So his anger is also not in the material modes. His anger is not like living entity's anger. Arjuna is a living entity, so his anger is different as compared to Lord Shri Krishna's anger. Lord Krishna is absolute. Srila Prabhupada explains very wonderfully here. He said, because he is absolute, both his anger and pleasure are the same. Isn't it amazing that Lord Shri Krishna is pleased or Lord Shri Krishna is angry? Both of that is having same beneficial effect on the object of that pleasure or the anger. The last line, he says, therefore, even if he is angry, the object of anger is blessed. He is unchanged in all circumstances. So his anger is also beneficial to the object of that anger. So by Krishna's anger or Krishna's pleasure, because he is absolute, it is not ordinary anger. We have also seen that in the pure devotees' anger as well. For example, Narad Muni's anger towards Mani Griva and Nalakuvera, that we saw that how they got benefited. Here as well, Aśvatthāmā is going to get benefited somehow or the other. Like the mercy is there, his life is going to be saved soon. Coming to verse number, before we go there. So Krishna is absolute. So as we saw, his anger and pleasure has the same effect. Even the object of his anger is blessed. Okay, let's go to the next verse. Mainam partharhasi tratum brahmabandhum imam jahi yosavanagasah suptan vadhinnishi balakan. Yes, Sudharma Prabhu, Sudharma Mataji.
Prabhuji, I had a question, quick question, Prabhuji. Is it okay? Or after the
Let's
verse?
finish this verse and we can do that.
Okay.
You can read the translation and then I can come back.
Lord Shri Krishna said, O Arjuna, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmana, Brahmabandhu, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So now Lord Shri Krishna in the next few verses, he is going to provide arguments regarding killing of Aśvatthāmā. He's supporting. He's saying that let us kill Aśvatthāmā because he saw that when Arjuna started from the military camp, he was saying that I will bring the head of Aśvatthāmā to you, Draupadi. But now when Aśvatthāmā has been captured, Arjuna hasn't killed him. Arjuna has just bound him by rope and he is about to bring him alive. So that is why Krishna is actually now telling him and giving him various different reasons why Aśvatthāmā should be killed. So the first reason he gave, he's saying, don't show mercy. Because thinking that he's a Brahmana, he's not a Brahmana, he's a Brahma Bandhu. On top of that, he's a Atatayi. Because he killed the sleeping innocent boys. And Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that it is not like a son of a high court judge is a high court judge himself. He can become a high court judge. The son of a high court judge can also become a high court judge, but he has to become qualified. So similarly, a son of a Brahmana does not become a Brahmana just by birth. They also have to acquire the qualification. But of course, the son of a high court judge can be called a relative of an honorable justice. That's what Srila Prabhupada says. But there is no harm in addressing a high court judge's son as a relative of the honorable justice. Therefore, as by birth only one does not become high court judge, so also one does not become a Brahmana simply by birthright. So, just like the son of a high court judge is called a relative of honorable justice, similarly, a son of a Brahmana can also be called Brahma Bandhu. He is a relative of a Brahmana. So you cannot become Brahmana just by birth, but it is by qualification that you can become a Brahmana. There is, of course, high chance that a son of a Brahmana will become a Brahmana because he acquires the qualities from the parents, as well as he will always be in association of various different Brahmanas, and the entire environment around him will be in mode of goodness. So it is high likelihood that he will also become a Brahmana. So that is how, just for example, the son or the daughter of a doctor, because they are always going to the hospitals or they are in that association, they are also inclined to become a doctor. So similarly, a son of a Brahmana or daughter of a Brahmana, they will want to become a Brahmana. They will develop the mode of goodness in themselves. So that is why, that is the first reasoning Lord Shri Krishna has given of killing Aśvatthāmā. He's saying that, don't worry, you're thinking you're giving him respect because he's a Brahmana, but he's not a Brahmana. He's a Brahma Bandhu. So that is the first one. Yes, Sudharma Mataji, what is the question?
Prabhuji, here, normally the etiquette in a battlefield is like if somebody is running away, showing the back, they normally just leave them because they are not ready to fight. But in this case, Krishna himself is supporting for him to catch Aśvatthāmā. Is this because he has done such a heinous act or because of the promise Arjuna gave to Draupadi?
Yeah. So it is not that The fleeing enemy cannot be chased and cannot be captured. You cannot kill them, because if they are actually shown the back and they are without the weapon, and it is going to come now, that verse when someone is not supposed to be killed, that is going to be coming very soon in this chapter. So you can still capture them. Okay,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
fine. So first one we talked about, oh, this is the next verse. Mattam Mattam pramattam unmattam suptam balam sriyam chadam prapannam viratham bhitam na ripum hanti dharmavid. Who was next? Yes, Mantramlam Prabhu.
A person who knows the principles of religion does not kill an enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid of, or devoid of his chariot. Nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or surrendered soul. Thank you, Prabhuji.
So he is giving this argument, Krishna is giving this argument to kill Aśvatthāmā, saying that Aśvatthāmā has violated the codes of religious war. Why? Because a warrior is not supposed to kill an enemy who's careless, which is mattam, or intoxicated. He is intoxicated now. He is not in his proper consciousness to fight, so he cannot have a proper fight. So there is no point in killing him. Insane, he has gone mad, should not be killed. He's asleep, so if the enemy is sleeping, you should not be killing them. Or afraid, he is now bhayabhita, he is fearful, so should not be killed. Devoid of a chariot, if chariot is not there and if you are on a chariot, you should not be killing that person. And nor does he kill a boy, a woman, or animals. So Aśvatthāmā has killed two things, like two principles have broken. One, he has killed the boys and they were sleeping. So because he's a warrior who has violated the codes of religious war, then you should kill him. And it is for his own benefit you should kill him. That is what is coming in the next verse. Let us read the translation for the next one. Yes, Lavanga Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. A cruel and wicked person who maintains his existence at the cost of others' lives deserves to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise, he will go down by his own actions.
Thank you, Mataji. So this purport is quite nice. Let us read around half of the purport. Someone can start reading and I will stop you somewhere. Who wants to read? Yes, Aditi Mataji, go ahead.
A life for a life is just punishment for a person who cruelly and shamelessly lives at the cost of another's life. Political morality is to punish a person by a death sentence in order to save a cruel person from going to hell. That a murderer is condemned to a death sentence by the state is good for the culprit, because in his next life he will not have to suffer for his act of murder. Such a death sentence for the murderer is the lowest possible punishment offered to him, and it is said in the Smriti Shastras that men who are punished by the king on the principle of a life for a life are purified of all their sins, so much so that they may be eligible for being promoted to the planets of heaven. According to Manu, the great author of civic codes and religious principles, even the killer of an animal is to be considered a murderer, because animal food is never meant for the civilized man whose prime duty is to prepare himself for going back to Godhead. He says that in the act of killing an animal, there is a regular conspiracy by the party of sinners, and all of them are liable to be punished as murderers, exactly like a party of conspirators who kill a human being combinedly. He who gives permission, he who kills the animal, he who sells the slaughtered animal, he who cooks the animal, he who administers distribution of the foodstuff, And at last, he who eats such cooked animal food are all murderers, and all of them are liable to be punished by the laws of nature.
Yeah, that's fine, Mataji. Very wonderful purport. Especially further as well. We could just continue reading. But the essence of this is Lord Shri Krishna is mentioning that a person who is a cruel and wretched person like Aśvatthāmā, who maintains his existence at the cost of others' lives. So he has killed these 5 boys who were sleeping, and he's trying to maintain himself. Now he has fired the Brahmastra as well, and he's trying to maintain his own self at the cost of other people's lives. So such a person should be killed for his own benefit. And that is what Srila Prabhupada has explained, that a murderer should be punished by killing, a life for a life. Because if we do not, like as a judge or when he is being sentenced to for his crime, if a death sentence is not given to a killer, then he is not purified for his sin. And because of that, he has to actually undergo through the reaction in his next life. But if he is given a death sentence, then he is purified of his sin. And the next life, he doesn't have to actually then go through the reaction for this. And it is true for an animal killer as well. So animal killer is also in the same boat. Srila Prabhupada says further that if you are not able to give a life, how can you take a life? So that is why an animal killer is also punished in the same way. And just like in the court as well, if someone has murdered someone, then anyone who has helped such a murder, they are also punished. So here as well, Srila Prabhupada explains there are 6 perpetrators, and they are also in the same boat as the animal killer. So who are those 6 perpetrators in animal killing who are also considered sinners, and they are also liable for the reaction? First one who gives permission to kill the animal. So he said, okay, you can go ahead and kill this animal. So the person who is giving the permission to kill. The second one who kills the animal. The third one who sells the killed animal. So it is not that you have killed the animal, so that person only is the main perpetrator and he is going to get the reaction. One who gave the permission as well is going to get the reaction, and one who's selling the killed animal in a shop, that person is also responsible. So the person who is selling in the shop, he cannot say that, oh, I'm just selling the meat, but I haven't killed the animal. No. If you are selling the killed animal, you are also liable for the reaction. The next one who cooks the animal. Even if you are not if you are a vegetarian, if you are not eating meat, even if you're just cooking the meat for someone else, still you are involved in the sinful reaction. And the fifth one is one who administers the distribution of foodstuff. Even if you're running a restaurant where this foodstuff is administered, it is given, sold, then also you are one of the sinners. And finally, one who eats the meat. So there's 6 people. One who gives permission to kill, one who kills, one who sells the killed animal, one who cooks it, one who administers the distribution, and one who finally eats the animal. All 6 people are considered sinners, and they are going to be given the reaction. So this is what is mentioned in our scriptures. So it is very important to understand this, that we cannot just say that, okay, I'm not eating or I'm not killing. That is why I'm actually not involved in this reaction. If you are involved in any of these 6 activities, you are still part of this reaction. Yes, Bharadar.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Quick question, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, like, one who cooks the animal is also getting the sin. So, I know like my grandmother, like she never ate meat in her life, but because my grandfather liked it, she would cook for him, right? So isn't that her duty to for the family, like whatever the family wants, she had to cook. So even though she's not, but like she's doing her duty.
Yeah. So as per this, it says that anyone who cooks the animal is also a perpetrator. Now the other injunction is that who's responsible for the sins or the activities of a person who's completely surrendered. Now it is
Surrender
saying
to
that
the Lord.
children, no, completely surrendered to a person.
Oh,
For
okay.
example, the wife, if she's completely surrendered to the husband, and then she's helping that progress, completely surrendered. Then that way, automatically, whatever good things that the husband does, then 50% of that credit goes to the wife. Then it is also mentioned that when children who are less than 12 years of age, whatever activities that they are doing, because they are not independent by then, so all the reactions of their activities comes to the parents.
Right.
So depending on like all these injunctions coming together, depending on whether a person was completely under the uh, uh, dependent on the other person, and that is why she was doing it. If she did not do anything independently like that, without um, going against the husband's will, then the reactions will go to him. But irrespective of that, I'm thinking that here, uh, as per the injunction, that there is always some free will that people have, and using that free will, things can be changed. So if that free will is not getting used, and if you are cooking the meat for someone else as well, still you are part of it, unfortunately. And they also get the sinful reactions of that activity.
Okay.
Because in Kali Yuga, it is so hard to be completely dependent and completely surrendered. And there are so many activities that we do independently anyway.
Right.
So it is possible that we can always say that I'm not cooking, you go and eat it in the restaurant or whatever. If that at that time, if that was possible or not, I do not know. So we
Right.
will leave it up to them,
Right.
the
Okay.
situation. But in general, that is what the scriptures say.
Okay. Thank you.
Adi Devi Mataji?
Thank you, Prabhu. So my question is probably a little vague in terms of like if someone were to accept a gift from somebody who engages in the business of selling meat or like let's say have a pizzeria which sells meat pizza and things
Hmm.
like that. So does that also entail karma? Like, if the person is a friend, and, like for example, my daughter, she has a friend and she gets a gift from the person who's selling meat. Does that uh, get karma?
Yeah.
Well,
Actually, it is mentioned that whenever there is that exchange that happens,
yeah,
um, it is bit vague about in general other people taking the gifts. I haven't heard anything specifically about other people taking gifts. But when a brahmana receives a dana or a charity,
right.
then as part of when he accepts the charity, he also accepts some of that sinful reactions
Okay.
from from the giver. That is why it is mentioned that unless and until you are a pure devotee, you should not be accepting a charity. If you receive something, you should just completely use it in Krishna's service.
Okay.
So that
Mm,
is why if I go to some kirtan or some lecture somewhere, and
mm.
then someone just gives me some dakshina, I accept it because temple requires it. But the entire amount, without using a single dollar for myself, I just put it into Krishna's service,
Right.
to the account where it goes for Lord Shri Krishna. And that way, it is just, I'm not accepting it directly for myself. It is used in Krishna. Krishna can take care of everything. Just like the sun, it can purify everything.
Yeah.
The sun rays fall on the clothes which are drying, the clean clothes which are drying outside, but also the same sun rays fall on the stool in the garden. And that is also getting purified, and the clothes are also getting purified by sun rays. Similarly, the Lord can actually accept everything, but we may not be able to digest it properly ourselves. So, but I do not know, so I don't want to speculate that what happens for just the normal gift exchange. It is not like a dan. It is dadati pratigrunnati, probably what happens for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I will check with someone, or when now very soon we are going to have a few Maharajas coming, as well as Chaitanya Charan Prabhu as well. So they are coming, so we can ask them that question. So just remember to ask them.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Sudharma Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, like when you say about talking about gift from, person engaged in a business, but this is like when we are taking service. So that's also like a gift, but in a, like not a, like tangible. But meat eaters may be there, or they have been in Krishna conscious for a long time, but they are not able to give up the tendency to eat meat. So are we still okay to get the services, because that will make some change at some point in their heart?
Yes, services, Mataji, is different. Are you talking about the personal service that they are offering to you, or service to Krishna?
Service to either way, Prabhuji. Service to Krishna, one case, and also personal service, because we still have that association with the person, right? So they may sometimes give some personal services as well.
Yeah, generally the food cooked by meat eaters should not be eaten, because finally the subtle, the modes moves into the food, and then if you actually absorb that, eat that food, then you will absorb those kind of modes. So if someone is eating meat, then that means they have quite a lot of mode of ignorance, and if they have cooked something, then of course that ignorance has actually transferred into the food, and if that food you eat, then you are also actually developing mode of ignorance. So that is why in the temples, when the food is cooked, it is only a Brahmana who's supposed to cook at the temple. So mode of goodness. So mode of goodness is required. Minimum qualification is mode of goodness. If you are in pure mode of goodness, fantastic. But otherwise, at least the minimum qualification is that people should have mode of goodness when they cook for the Lord or offer to the Lord. So as devotees as well, that is why we should not be eating food which is cooked by non-devotees, because you do not know which mode they are in, and you are absorbing their modes by eating that food.
But this is for services, Prabhuji, what my question is for.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying, that only service that you should not accept is the eating the food.
Okay. The rest of
Other services, for example, if they are driving you to the airport, or they are coming to help in the temple, or in the programs where they are actually supporting something. Now that service is going to purify them. But if you are eating the food, or if you are engaging them into cooking the food, then our main aim is that when people are coming to the programs, to the temples, we want to actually give them mode of goodness. If we don't want to actually give them mode of ignorance.
Thank you very much.
Okay, fine. Adidevi Mataji, your hand is still up. Is that for something else, or it was from the past?
Yes, Prabhu. So, gosh, I forgot. I'll come back to me.
Fine. Maybe towards the end. We'll take the last point from Gaurachandra Prabhu, and then we'll move on.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, just usually here in the Christchurch temple, the initiated devotees, they do cook for the deities, and obviously that's a standard. Now, during festivals, it is generally seen that people who are just normal, coming occasionally and not initiated, and working in like maybe some in restaurants or something. So they are sometimes asked to cook as well. And so how can we? Usually I prefer and we don't eat during those scenarios, but then obviously feeding the whole congregation during those festivals, especially like big days like Srila Prabhupada's, like appearance day just recently happened. And so,
Understood.
So how do we, I really don't know.
Yeah, the principle is, Prabhuji, that we should always, especially at the temple kitchen, ideally the Brahman initiated devotees should be cooking, and they should be on the fire. Like mainly, the cooking means when they are near the fire doing some cooking. But chopping, cleaning in the kitchen can be done by others. That is possible. That is okay. The main point is that when somebody is cooking, they should be in mode of goodness as much as possible. Now, those who are even Brahman initiated may not be in goodness, isn't it? But at least that what we know is that if someone is Brahman initiated, they are chanting the 16 rounds, they are following the 4 relative principles. So these basic qualifications are there, and then they are doing the Gayatri for 3 times in the day. So some goodness will be there only then someone who would have done it for last 2-3 years before they get Brahman initiated, minimum. So understanding that, then we say that, okay, Brahman initiated means some goodness is there, so they can do. On festival days, it is possible that the manpower that we have to do all of that cooking for 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 people, or even more for bigger temples, it is impossible for just the Brahmanas to do all of that. So such rare occasions, then others can be involved. But as much as possible there as well, those who are not eating meat, they are following 4 relative principles and chanting 16 rounds. They should be preferred at least when they are closer to the fire and doing the actual cooking. Others should be engaged in other services, but not in the actual cooking. That is a principle. But of course, the time, place, and circumstances sometimes doesn't even allow that. You may not even have enough first initiated devotees to do it. So sometimes it is possible that other devotees can be engaged. It is better to actually do that than not feed prasadam to the devotees. So main important principle is that always try to give Krishna to someone. So if the devotees are coming to the temple and they don't get prasadam, when they go home hungry, they won't be happy. So if other principles are possible to follow, then we should do that. But if it is not possible, then try to give prasadam.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. Okay, let us move on. We are on verse number Draupadī's thing.
38, Prabhuji.
38. Okay, let us read the translation now directly for this next few. Yes, Gaurchandra Prabhu, then Srinivasa Mataji, and then Surananda Prabhu.
The 39, Prabhuji, sorry, I was just, my hand was
38.
raised from the previous 38, the translation.
Yeah.
Furthermore, I have personally heard you promise Draupadi that you would bring forth the head of the killer of her sons.
Yeah, so this is the series of verses, as we talked a little bit earlier, that where Lord Shri Krishna is giving various different reasons, arguments for killing of Aśvatthāmā. So he first mentioned that he's a Brahma Bandhu, so you don't have to respect him as a Brahmana. Second, he has violated the codes of religion. He is not supposed to kill children. He has done that. He is not supposed to kill those who are sleeping. He has done that. Then anyone who is existing, they are continuing their life at the cost of killing other people, it is for their own benefit that they should be killed. That was the third reason. Now the fourth reason he's giving is that, hey, you have already given promise to Draupadi before we started from the military camp. You already said that you are going to bring the head of Aśvatthāmā, and on she can stand on the head and then take her bath. And now you are not doing that. So he's reminding that you have already given a promise. Next translation.
This man is an assassin and murderer of your own family members. Not only that, but he has also dissatisfied his master. He is but the burnt remnants of his family. Kill him immediately.
Thank you, Maharaj. So he is again reminding that he's an Atatai. So he's an assassin, but in the verse it is Atatai mentioned. Atatai means who has done those 6 activities which we have discussed in the last session. And Srila Prabhupada mentions, I think, in this end of the purport as well. So he has said that he has murdered your family. So he's an Atatai. An Atatai can be killed, even if he is a Brahmana. What to speak of a Brahmabandhu? So that is why you don't have to worry about thinking that he's a Brahmana or whatever Brahmabandhu. If a Brahmana also is an Atatai, can be killed. Also, not only that he's an Atatai, he has also dissatisfied his master. And if you're thinking about his Drona's son, Dronacharya's son, don't worry about that as well, because he's a burnt remnant of his family. What it means is that Dronacharya is a great personality, but Aśvatthāmā is not like him. He's just like a burnt remnant. For example, the nice rice is cooked. So that nice rice, basmati rice on top is like Dronacharya. But the burnt remnant at the bottom is like Aśvatthāmā. You just take it out and throw it. You don't serve that burnt rice to people. So it is like that, burnt remnant of his family. He is not as great as his family lineage is. He has degraded himself by committing the heinous act of killing the 5 sons of Pāṇḍavas. And they were when they're sleeping, not even on the war field. So that is what he is mentioning. So verse number 40. Who's next? Yeah.
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, Surananda Prabhu. Go ahead.
Suta Goswami said, although Krishna, who was examining Arjuna in religion, encouraged Arjuna to kill the son of Dronacharya, Arjuna, a great soul, did not like the idea of killing him, although Aśvatthāmā was a heinous murderer of Arjuna's family members. Hare Krishna.
Continue with the next one as well.
After reaching his own camp, Arjuna, along with his dear friend and charioteer Sri Krishna, entrusted the murderer unto his dear wife, who was lamenting for her murdered sons.
Yeah, so what is happening is Krishna is actually testing Arjuna on religion by encouraging Arjuna to kill Aśvatthāmā. So all these reasoning that he gave, that he's a Brahmabandhu, he has violated the codes of religion, he can be killed for his own benefit, you have given the promise to the Draupadī, he's an Attai, so he can be killed. All of these things Krishna was mentioning just to test Arjuna on the principles of religion. Now it is not because he had doubt about Arjuna. Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport. He says that it was not because he had doubt about whether Arjuna will do the right thing or not. He did it to glorify Arjuna. So you can imagine that someone who has killed your son just some time ago, you are already angry. In that anger, you have found the person who has killed your sons. In that situation, in that such a difficult and where so much provocation is there to kill that person, Arjuna is still thinking. That is the greatness of Arjuna. He has this thinking ability left. He is not just reacting that, okay, this has happened, I'm just going to react. He is just taking the time out, thinking what is right, what is wrong, and then he is acting. So as Srila Prabhupada always used to say, the greatness of a person, we can actually understand how he can act in a provocative situation. In the normal situation, everyone can be okay. They may show as if they are in goodness. But when some provocation happens, at that time you will understand whether the person is in goodness or not. So this is what Arjuna is showing, that even in this provocative situation, he is very calm. Even though he is angry as well, he's still not forgetting what is dharma. So to just showcase and to glorify Arjuna, Krishna has actually tested him like this. So it is mentioned in the previous verse that we read, for verse number 14, Arjuna is a great soul, and he did not like this idea of killing Aśvatthāmā, even though he has killed his own sons, family members. So because he is able to think of dharma in this difficult situation as well, that is why he's called a great soul. And then what he did, Arjuna brought Aśvatthāmā back to the camp and handed him over to Draupadi. That he is the one who killed. Now you decide what you want me to do with him. So that is how it has been done. I think what, Bharadwaj Prabhu, if you have a question, let's park it. Let us complete this chapter and then we will take the questions again. Okay. So Arjuna has brought Aśvatthāmā and entrusted him to Draupadi. This is where we are at now. Verse number 42. Yes, Pāṇḍavas Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Shri Sutta Goswami said, Draupadi then saw Aśvatthāmā, who was bound with ropes like an animal and silent for having intended the most inglorious murder. Due to her female nature and due to her being naturally good and well behaved, she showed him due respect as a Brahmana. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So this verse says, actually we should have read this. Tatha vritam pashuvat pasha baddham avan mukham karma jugupsitena niriksha krishna pakritam guru sutam vama swabhava krupaya nanamcha. So it is mentioned that Draupadi has vama swabhav. Vama swabhav means she had this mild and gentle nature. Because she was a woman, because the women has this mild and gentle nature, because of that, she did not also like the idea of killing. Forget about killing. She did not even like the idea that he was bound like an animal and brought in front of her. So that is why what she said, Draupadi saw that the Aśvatthāmā was bound with ropes like an animal and he was silent. She said that in the next verse, is he going to say, who was bound like an animal due to her female nature and due to her being naturally good and well behaved, she showed him due respects as a Brahmana. Yeah, she will ask him to be unbound. But before that, it is said, Vama Swabhava Krupaya Nanamcha. Nanamcha means she has offered respects to him. Now imagine Arjuna was thinking that he should not be killed. Aśvatthāmā should not be killed. So we were thinking that, oh, how glorious he is and whatnot. And Draupadi is thinking that forget about killing. Why he is bound? He should be respected because he is Brahmana. Now, Srila Prabhupada has written a wonderful purport here. So, Srila Prabhupada is saying that because of her female nature and because she was naturally good and well behaved, she was actually thinking from her heart and not from her head. So she is not actually using the reasoning and discriminatory power. So Srila Prabhupada mentions that we should not give up our reason and discriminatory power just to be gentle. Now imagine if you are an administrator and someone has done something wrong, you can't be gentle like Draupadi in that case. Even if you're a devotee, you have the responsibility like Arjuna, Lord Shri Krishna, Yudhishthir Maharaj, all of them are Kshatriyas. They have a responsibility of also punishing the people who are criminals. So considering all of that, you cannot give up the reason and discriminatory power just to become gentle. So Aśvatthāmā may be respected, So it is mentioned in the last verse, last line of this purport. Aśvatthāmā may be respected by a good-natured woman, but that does not mean that he is as good as a genuine Brahmana. So Draupadi, out of her goodness of heart, she is respecting Aśvatthāmā, but that does not mean that he is as good as a genuine Brahmana. So the fact remains that he has performed this heinous crime and he should be punished. But because of her mild heart, Vama Swabhav, she is thinking that he should not be punished and it should be respected. So now in the next few verses, 43 to 48, there are 6 qualities which are coming of Draupadi's speech. And actually they are coming from verse number 49. In 49th verse, Suta Goswami mentions those qualities of her. And those 6 qualities are coming in this verses now which are coming. So the first one is coming as dharmyam. Let us read the translation of 43. Who's next? Yes, Sudhanva Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhu. She should not tolerate Aśvatthāma's being bound by ropes.
She could not, yeah.
Yeah, she could not. And being a devoted lady, she said, release him, for he is a Brahmana, our spiritual master.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So the first quality of her speech is like she's talking about dharma. Why? Because she's saying she could not tolerate him to be bound like an animal like this. So being a devoted lady, she said, release him, for he is a Brahmana or spiritual master. So she wants to release Aśvatthāmā, even though he has committed such a heinous crime, just because he's a Brahmana, and Brahmana is supposed to be a spiritual master. That is why she's saying that he should be released. Now, both Krishna and Arjuna knew that he is the son of a Brahmana and son of their guru as well, Dronacharya, when they captured him and bound him and they tied him by the rope, because they understood that he is not a Brahmana. And Srila Prabhupada mentions, it's a very wonderful point here, according to revealed scriptures, a teacher or spiritual master is liable to be rejected if he proves himself unworthy of the position of a guru or a spiritual master. A guru is called also an acharya, or a person who has personally assimilated all the essence of shastras and has helped his disciples to adopt the ways. So the guru's responsibility is to practice what he is preaching. And through that practice, the disciple is understanding and learning from him. But if the guru is not acting as per that, then that guru can be rejected. So even though Aśvatthāmā, being the son of a guru, and now the guru is not there, he can be considered as a representative of a guru, but still his actions were not like a guru. That is why he could be rejected. And Krishna and Arjuna understood this because they were seeing from the Shastric vision. They were thinking from the head again. They were using the discriminatory power to think what is right, what is wrong. But Draupadi is thinking from her heart. She is, because of her mild and gentle nature, she is actually seeing the sentiment. And Srila Prabhupada said that she is looking at the custom. Custom is that a son of a Brahmana is also a Brahmana. So she is ignoring the facts in front of her and she's just going by the custom. So Draupadi is still considered, like in the last sentence, last paragraph, you can see that. But in spite of all of this, Draupadi desired that Aśvatthāmā be at once released, and it was all the same a good sentiment for her. This means that a devotee of the Lord can tolerate all sorts of tribulations personally, but still such a devotee are never unkind to others, even to the enemy. These are the characteristics of one who is a pure devotee of the Lord. On one side, Srila Prabhupada is saying that her sentiments and her mild nature is there, but she is not actually discriminating as per the Shastra. But at the same time, he is glorifying her forgiving capability. that she is able to tolerate all the tribulations personally. Her sons were killed, and she's in so much pain, and she is devastated because of all this, the deaths which are happened in her family, and the enemy is front of her, but she is not, unkind to them. She is still seeing the good things about that person. Okay, let us move on. Next one. Go ahead, Lavanga Mataji or Prabhuji. 44.
It was the
You're on mute, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, not for now.
Yeah, Dandavad.
It was by Dronacharya's mercy that you learned the military art of throwing arrows and the confidential art of controlling weapons.
Now here she is giving the second reasoning why he should not be killed. He's saying that, and Sutta Goswami is talking about Nyaya, justice. So she's saying because Dronacharya is your guru and he taught you how to shoot arrows. Not only that, he also taught you the confidential art of controlling the weapons, like the various different astras. This Brahmastra as well that he had shot some time ago, that was because Dronacharya had taught him all of this art. Just by chanting hymns, you can control these weapons. So you are obliged to Drona because he has taught you everything, and in his absence, his son is his representative. So you have to be grateful to your guru and not kill his son. So that is the second point that she has mentioned. Now the next one, 45. Sakarunam. So that is mercy that she's going to show. Parminder Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. He, Dronacharya, is certainly still existing. He has been represented by his son. His wife, Kripi, did not undergo a sati with him because she had a son. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So when Dronacharya died on the battlefield, his wife Kripi, who is the sister of Krupacharya, so she did not go sati with her husband because Aśvatthāmā was still alive. So because of that, Kripi was still living. And out of mercy for Kripi, Draupadi did not want to kill Aśvatthāmā because otherwise there was no purpose remaining for Kripi to live. So out of that mercy, she is saying that we should not kill Aśvatthāmā. Next one, 46.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead.
O most fortunate one, who knows the principle of religion, it is not good for you to cause a grief to glorious family members who are always respectable and worshipful. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Worshipful. So this is the quality of nirvilikam. Nirvilikam means without duplicity. So you know the principles of religion. So she is talking to Arjuna that you know the principle of religion. It is not good to cause pain to glorious family members who are always respectable and worshipful. Any elders or anyone who is worshipful or respectable, we should be seeking blessings from them. We should be respecting them. So if you respect such elders who are respectful, they are respectable and worshipable, then we will receive blessings from them. And when we receive blessings, we flourish. But if we insult them, then we will bring suffering to ourselves. So this is what is mentioned. And that is why like our culture, especially the Indian culture, is that we always try to respect our elders as well as any respectful person like teachers, even our school teachers. We will always call them teacher or sir or whatever. But here they call with their own name. I don't know how that respect is somehow or the other lacking in this culture here. So that is not the right way to do it. We should always be respectful to people, and then especially elders or teachers or anyone who's supposed to be worshipable and respectful, our guru, and that is how we will seek blessings. We will receive blessings from them. But if you are disrespectful, we are insulting them, then we will degrade and we will suffer because of that. Okay, next one, 47. Sudharma Mataji, you had raised your hand, and then Vikas Prabhu can do. Next one.
My lord, do not make the wife of Dronacharya cry like me. I am aggrieved for the death of my sons. She need not cry constantly like me. Hare Krishna.
So this is samam, equity. She is saying that I have actually felt the pain of my sons being killed. I don't want Kripi, Gautami, Dronacharya's wife, to go through the same pain and cry like me, like I am crying now. So, so she's speaking from her motherly feeling and also from the respectable position held by wife of Dronacharya. So from both perspectives, she is saying that this should not be done. Next one.
If the kingly administrative order, being unrestricted in sense control, offends the Brahmana order and enrages them, then the fire of that rage burns up the whole body of the royal family and brings grief upon them all. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So here the quality of Mahat is mentioned, that if the royal order, being unrestricted by their sense control, they offend the Brahmana order and enrages them, then the fire of that rage can burn the entire royal family, is mentioned, and that will bring grief to the entire family. So Srila Prabhupada mentions in this small purport that the Brahmana order should be respected by Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, and they should be respected and not insulted. Because if they do like that, then it will cause their destruction. And we see the example of King Vena. He angered the Brahmanas, and the Brahmanas, just by their humkara, Vena was killed. So if you enrage the Brahmanas and the real Brahmanas, then just their rage can kill you. 49. This is where Sutta is actually talking about all these various qualities that we saw. Dharmyam, Nyayam, Sak. Okay, let us read this verse. Sutta Uvacha. Dharmyam Nyayam Sakarunam Nirvyalikam Samam Mahat Raja Dharma Suto Radnya Pratyananda Dvacho Dvijaha. Vikas Prabhu, go ahead.
Suta Goswami said, O Brahmanas, King Yudhishthira fully supported the statements of the queen, which were in accordance with the principles of religion and were justified, glorious, full of mercy and equity, and without duplicity. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So now there are this agreement and disagreement with Draupadi's agreements will be coming. Now Krishna had supported. Remember what has happened till now. Krishna has supported killing. Arjuna originally wanted to kill. That is why he has taken a vow. And that is why he had chased, done all of that. Then Krishna has given so many different reasonings for killing Aśvatthāmā. Now Aśvatthāmā is in front of Draupadi. Draupadi has given various different reasons why not to kill Aśvatthāmā. Now, what other people are going to say about Draupadi's arguments? So Yudhishthir agreed. So Yudhishthir agreed with Draupadi, and he said, and Sutta Goswami is saying that because her statements were dharmyam, they were according to the principles of religion. Nyayam means they are full of justice, they are justified. Sakarunam, they were full of mercy. Nirvalikam, which means they are without duplicity. Samam means they are equitable, like equity there was there. And Mahat means they were glorious. So considering all of that, Yudhishthir said that I agree with you, Draupadi. Aśvatthāmā should not be killed. Next verse. There are so many other people also now supports. Who wants to read? Translation. Yes, Lavanga Mataji. Go ahead.
Nakula and Sahadeva, the younger brothers of the king, and also Satyaki, Arjuna, the personality of Godhead Lord Sri Krishna, son of Devaki, and the ladies and other all unanimously agreed with the king.
This is quite funny. Now, Lord Shri Krishna also agrees with Draupadi here. The same personality who was given so many reasons for killing Aśvatthāmā to Arjuna. Now it is said that Nakula, Sahadev, Satyaki, Arjuna, Krishna, and all the other ladies who were present there, and others as well, all agreed with Yudhishthir that Aśvatthāmā should not be killed, because Yudhishthir has agreed with Draupadi that he should not be killed. Now this is quite interesting, but there was one person who was saying that, sorry, I don't agree. Let us look at that person. Yeah, Sudharma Mataji, go ahead. Or Sudharma Prabhu, whoever.
Bhima, however, disagreed with them and recommended killing this culprit who, in an angry mood, had murdered sleeping children for no purpose and for neither his nor his master's interest.
Yeah. So Bhima said, nothing doing. I'm not agreeing with all of you at all. Aśvatthāmā must be killed. Why? Because he has murdered sleeping children for no purpose. Not for his own purpose. It did not satisfy him, or not for his master as well. So just for nothing that he has killed his 5 sleeping sons, so he must be killed. Next verse is quite interesting. Nishamya bhima gaditam draupadyascha chaturbhujah alokya vadanam sakhyur idamaha hasanniva.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Chaturbhuja, the four-armed one, or the personality of Godhead, after hearing the words of Bhima, Draupadi, and others, saw the face of his dear friend Arjuna, and he began to speak as if smiling. Hare Krishna.
It is mentioned here that Lord Shri Krishna is Chaturbhuja. You can see this picture here that Sridhar Swami explains that Krishna is with 2 hands. Why is he mentioned as Chaturbhuja here? And he says that he required to actually manifest the 4 hands, because you can imagine the scene there that Bhima is ready to kill and Draupadi is wanting to protect. So Krishna had to actually use 2 hands to stop Bhima and 2 hands to separate Draupadi. And that is why he has called a Chaturbhuja here. So that is how it is. It is like that scene is happening in front of us. Now he is smiling and he's going to say something. Let us see what he says. 53-54. Who was next? Bhageshwari Mataji. And then Sudharma Mataji.
The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna said, a friend of a Brahmana is not to be killed, but if he is an aggressor, he must be killed. All these rulings are in the scriptures, and you should act accordingly. You have to fulfill your promise to your wife, and you must also act to the satisfaction of Bhimasena and me.
If the situation was not already difficult for Arjuna, Krishna has given him an instruction. And what an instruction. I don't know how he found the solution for that. He said that the friend of a Brahmana cannot be killed. A Brahma Bandhu is not to be killed. But if he is an aggressor, he must be killed. All these rulings are in the scriptures. So already contradiction he has mentioned. And then on top of that, he's saying you should act accordingly. But remember that you have to also fulfill the promise. You have taken a vow. So that vow cannot be broken. So that as per that vow, you have to kill Aśvatthāmā, O Arjuna. And you also must act to the satisfaction of Bhimsena and me. Bhimsena wants to kill, and now I have said that he should not be killed. Because he has supported now Yudhishthir. So much confusing instruction Lord Shri Krishna has given to Arjuna. So just like in Bhagavad Gita, that is why Arjuna was asking, hey, one time you're saying do this, another time you're saying do this. Now please tell me for sure what one thing that I should do. Don't give me this equivocal instructions. So that is what he said in Bhagavad Gita. But now he has heard the Bhagavad Gita, so he understands what to do and what not to do. So let us see what he's going to do. 55.
Just then Arjuna could understand the motive of the Lord by his equivocal orders, and thus with his sword he severed both hair and jewel from the head of Aśvatthāmā.
So he understood what Krishna wants him to do. He understood the meaning of the equivocal order. Kill him and don't kill him. So Arjuna understood the meaning that he is asking that Aśvatthāma's body should not be killed. But at the same time, he must be killed as well. So what he did, he severed the hair and the jewel on the head of Aśvatthāma. Now this jewel which was on the head of the Aśvatthāma was since his birth. He was born with that jewel on his head. And it was said that it gave him protection from thirst, hunger, disease, ghosts, animals, etc. So first of all, shaving his hair was an insult, plus removing this jewel was also an insult for a Brahmana. And for a respectable person, insult is worse than death. So in a way, he has killed him, but also not killed him. So that is how he has found a way to do something. Next verse. 56. Who was next? Okay, Mantramalam Prabhu and then Surananda Prabhu.
He, Aśvatthāmā, had already lost his bodily luster due to infanticide, and now, moreover, having lost the jewel from his head, he lost even more strength. Thus he was unbound and driven out of the camp. Thank you.
So Aśvatthāmā had already committed this sinful activity, and because of that, he had already lost his bodily luster. Now, this is quite amazing that when you actually do some good activities, you actually gain some bodily luster. So people actually start noticing that, oh, you're like glowing, and people say you're having some aura or something like that they mention. That is because of your purity that you are developing. The other people also start actually understanding and feeling that around you. But when you start performing some sinful activities, then what happens is that bodily luster is gone. It is lost. Now, on top of that, the money or the jewel on his head was also taken from his head. So he lost his strength as well. And then after that, he was unbound, and then he was driven out of the camp. So this is what the punishment has been now given to Aśvatthāmā. So that is how Arjuna has satisfied all the conditions which Krishna had put forward to him, that Brahma Bandhu should not be killed, but Atatai should be killed. You have to satisfy me, you have to satisfy me, you have to fulfill your vow, you have to satisfy Bhimsena. All of that he has fulfilled now. And now 57th verse is giving the proper way of punishing a Brahma Bandhu. Let's read that.
Cutting the hair from his head, depriving him of his wealth, and driving him from his residence are the prescribed punishments for the relative of a Brahmana. There is no injunction for killing the body.
So this is the right way to punish a Brahma Bandhu. Even if he is not a Brahmana, he is just born in the Brahmana family, and even if he has become Atatai, because different scriptures are talking about different things. Atatai is mentioned in one of the scriptures saying that Atatai should be punished in Manu Samhita. But whereas Brahmanas or any people or relatives of Brahmanas, how they should be dealt with, even if they perform some crime, is mentioned elsewhere. So all of these things come brought together. Now Srimad Bhagavatam is giving the right way to punish a Brahmana, like a Brahma Bandhu, not even a Brahmana. So how it can be done? Cutting the hair from his head, so that is an insult, depriving him from his wealth, the jewel was removed, and driving him from his residence. So he was moved out of the camp. He was thrown out of the camp. And these are the prescribed punishment for a relative of a Brahmana. There is no injunction for killing the body. So he should not be like beheaded or killed. His body should not be killed. That is the way of how it is dealt with. Last verse, translation. Who was next? I think there was someone earlier. If no one, then Pāṇḍavas Prabhu. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Therefore, the son of Pandu and Draupadi, overwhelmed with grief, performed the proper rituals for the dead bodies of their relatives. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah. So now this part is finished, where Aśvatthāmā has been punished and he has been driven out. So, of course, the 5 sons were killed and they had to perform their last rites. So after this thing was done, then they performed, overwhelmed with grief, and they performed the proper rituals for the dead bodies of those sons and their relatives. And that is how this chapter has finished. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, 7th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Son of Drona, punished. Pandavas performed rituals. So this is giving you a summary of all these arguments which have happened for killing of Aśvatthāmā. In the first column, Krishna is giving various reasons for supporting the killing. But the Arjuna passed the test and he did not kill. The second column, the third column is out of her mild and gentle nature. Draupadi gave various different reasons why he should not be killed. And then the fourth column is showing the agreement and disagreement that we saw of with Draupadi. That Yudhishthir and others agreed, but Bhima disagreed. Then finally Arjuna was asked by Lord Shri Krishna to satisfy everyone by his action. And that is when Arjuna gave some punishment to Aśvatthāmā, and then they finally performed the last rites. So, interesting conversation has now come to a conclusion. And next time we are going to talk about prayers of Queen Kunti and Parikshit saved. So Parikshit Maharaj is going to appear in the next chapter, but we will see that next time. But now is the time for any questions, comments, reflections, or any summary points from today. Hare Krishna. Bharadwaj.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, this is amazing. How it's pure drama. How everything ended up. But Prabhuji, my quick question is, in entire Bhagavad Gita we saw how Krishna was actually instructing Arjuna to do your duty and follow the instruction, follow my instruction, and then Arjuna, I'm following whatever you say. So why did then where Krishna was actually trying to justify that you go ahead and kill, why didn't Arjuna didn't kill immediately? Does it mean that we should, even though Krishna's instructions are there, we should use our discrimination? Our discrimination is higher than Krishna's instruction?
Yeah, it is answered in that purport by Srila Prabhupada. If I find it quickly, then we will read it. Otherwise, I'll just explain. Examining Arjuna. Okay, yeah, this one, 40th. No, not in that purport. Maybe somewhere else. So the main point here is, Prabhuji, that many times when the instructions are given, the spiritual master, or in this case here the Lord, may not actually may have something else in the mind. But just to test the disciple, they may actually give the instruction, and they are seeing whether they have understood the essence of the teachings that they have given. Of course, if Arjuna had decided to follow Krishna's advice, Krishna would have stopped him. So even though the instruction was in such a way given just for testing him, and suppose he, for some reason, whatever reason he was going to fail the test, then he would have actually told him that, oh, no, don't kill him. But he knew that Arjuna is now in his proper consciousness, and he knows what is right, what is wrong, and he would understand the meaning of my real instruction and what is my real mood, what I want him to do. And that is why he was actually testing him like this. And sometimes the spiritual master guru will also do like this, that they will give the instruction, but that is not the real thing that they want from you. And if you are intelligent enough to understand it, then you can pass the test. But even if, say, suppose you don't understand, it is not that they will let you make the mistake. They will still correct you and help you out. So this was the situation here.
Right.
So even though Arjuna says at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Karishye Vachanam Tava, it is not that we should blindly follow that. So we have to always use Guru, Sadhu and Shastra to understand what is happening, because at the same time, the same purports now we have seen that when Guru is wrong, he has to be rejected. So if you are just blindly following everything that is being said, then how will you understand? Where is the question of then figuring out whether the Guru is doing or giving the right instructions or not? And you will not be able to actually then come to that conclusion that, oh, actually this is not right, I have to reject this instruction. So, and sometimes also reject the Guru if the situation is worse. So that is why it is always said that we have to have reasonable faith, not blind faith, because blind faith will lead us to our fall down, but reasonable faith is what is required. And that reasonable faith, the other meaning of that is using Guru, Sadhu and Shastra in every situation. That even if Guru is saying something, see whether it is aligned to the Shastra. If you have questions, you can always ask those doubts. You don't have to immediately reject something saying that, oh, Shastra is saying this, Guru is saying this, because many times it is possible that we may not have understood the Shastra properly.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is why we should ask. So reasonable faith includes asking questions in the right mood.
Right.
And seeking clarification. And after clarification, then you can decide that if you are convinced that what is mentioned here, and in the situation where you are not convinced, then you can also check with some other sadhus around and see that if this action is okay or not okay, and see if
But
that is
wouldn't that
aligning
be an
to the sadhu
offense,
and Shastra.
Prabhuji? Wouldn't that be an offense, Prabhuji? Like, your guru has given an instruction. After clarification, then you are still doubting and then you are checking with others.
If you are still not convinced, it is better to actually seek further guidance. If you still feel that it is a wrong thing to do, it is
Right.
better to seek further guidance than just continuing with it.
Okay.
See, that will actually create even more disaster, because now you are thinking whimsically and doing independently something. If you reject that instruction without further seeking guidance, that means you have done it on your own. And you could be wrong, as Guru was mentioning. It could be the right thing to do, but because of our limited understanding, we have rejected that instruction.
Right.
And if you just follow it blindly, and if it was really wrong, then again it's a blunder.
Yeah.
So better to actually seek guidance.
Right.
See whether Guru, Sadhu, Shastra is aligning those three lenses that we always talk about. You always are back at the camera, so you would understand this better. It has to focus properly. All the lenses has to focus properly. Only then the clarity will come. So that clarity has to be there.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
The instructions, and then only we should go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, Gaurachandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Nara Pranam. Thank you so much for the nice explanation today. So, Sanivas Prabhu mentioned that it's text 40, like what you were just explaining. So, he just messaged. So, yeah. Text
Yeah, I
40.
actually looked at the text 40 in the purport. I couldn't find this point. Maybe I
Text
didn't.
49 also is there, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine, good.
Both
So
of
you
them.
can all look at 40 and 49 purports for what we were talking about just now. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, so Prabhuji, my question, just a little confusion, just a little clarification I need. So Prabhuji, in total, how many Brahmastras were released? So one by Aśvatthāmā when he was running away, when he was in fear that Arjuna is going to kill me. Then another one by Arjuna to counteract what he had, Aśvatthāmā had released. Now, was there not another one with that?
Yeah, that's coming in the next chapter.
Oh, okay. I'm just getting confused that when he tried to kill Parikshit Maharaj. So, okay,
Yeah.
that's in the next chapter. Yeah, okay.
That's the next Brahmastra.
Okay,
Now,
yeah. I was just
Parikshit,
thinking.
yeah, so Aśvatthāmā hasn't still learned the lesson.
Okay, yeah.
So he is further going to commit further sinful action.
Okay.
Now that is even worse. He's not only he has killed the 5 sons of Pandavas who were sleeping. Now he is even attacking someone who's inside the womb. Can you imagine this? This is such a heinous or a little consciousness is such degraded that he's not even sparing Parikshit Maharaj who's inside the womb. He is a grandson of Pandavas. So that is coming in the next chapter.
Okay, I was wondering maybe because now he's getting all these discussions are taking place and what's happening with the third one where he tried to kill. So thanks for that. It's coming
Yes,
next in the next
that's
chapter.
the next one.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Adi Devi Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Referring back to our your original conversation about the Guru and Sadhu Shastra, it just reminded me of my Guru Maharaj's instruction. He used to sum it up very well as being independently thoughtful. So, and basically use the lens of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So I just wanted to add to that.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Bharadwaj Rishi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, one more question. In the beginning of the lecture, mentioned that Vyasadeva has already written Bhagavatam, but upon Narada Muni's instruction, he has rewritten it. So is that so could you elaborate on that, Prabhuji?
Yeah, so 18 Puranas were already written, right? So we talked about in the last session that the 18 Puranas were already written.
And so Bhagavatam was already there.
Bhagavatam was already there.
But if it is
included in the 18 Puranas, but it was not completely focusing on Krishna and the devotional service. That is why he was feeling that he was feeling incomplete.
Okay.
And when Narad Muni explained to him that he is feeling incomplete and this despondency is there because of this reason. So you have to focus and write something which is mainly focused on Lord Shri Krishna and the devotional service to him. That is where he revised Srimad Bhagavatam to now focus mainly on these two things, Lord Shri Krishna and his devotional service.
Okay.
And he revised it further again.
Right.
So he revised it, then he revised it again. The Bhagavatam that we have is the second revision. Like after he has explained it to Shukadeva Goswami has explained to Parikshit and Sutta Goswami has explained to Shaunaka Rishi. After that, he has revised it again because he felt that it is even more interesting now.
Right.
After that, so this is the second. What is it called? Third edition. First edition was the original. Second, then he revised it. And the third one is after all of that has been spoken.
But Prabhuji, see, the moment we say Bhagavata is someone who is actually, is a devotee and then who is actually glorifying the Lord, worshipping the Lord. So inherently it has the, it would have mentioned about the Lord, Supreme Lord. So I wonder, like, how much, yeah, like, yeah. But anyway,
Clearly,
it's
clearly
interesting.
it was not satisfactory.
Right, right,
Otherwise,
right.
the
Yeah,
author
Been satisfied.
wouldn't have felt it. And clearly, this version that we have is completely different than what it was before. It probably retained some of the parts which was there before, but it is more focused on Lord Shri Krishna, more focused on devotional service. So Bhakta, Bhagwan and Bhakti is more focused in this one that we are seeing. That is where Vyasadeva is feeling satisfied.
Great, Prabhu. This actually addresses the fact, like, recently I was researching about the 18 Puranas. They were actually divided into Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva Guna, and that was mentioned in Padma Puran, and then it mentioned all 18. So I was wondering, like, how did Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam, if it has come up at the end, how did that happen in Padma Puran itself? So that clarifies, Prabhu.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Sannivas Prabhu, Mataji, Lavanga Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanwar Pranam.
Dandavad
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna. Whenever it comes to this episode of hearing this discussion about Draupadi Mata and Arjuna, it always also confuses and also gives me the how much devotees take the shelter of Krishna. Even they know that future this person is going to affect me. This person future going to come and do something bad, but still they go on the terms of dharma and you forgive him. Like the same thing we can see in our historic tests as well. Some kings, when this Brahman has done some mistakes or then enemies, they forgive them for 17 times to leave them. And then if he's been killed, they know that the content state will be protected. But following the dharmic rules, and they used to do that war in that line. But whereas the people coming from outside, like Afghanistan, they never followed those rules. They just killed for the sake of killing and conquering. There's no dharma in their life. So this shows that how much people on the part of dharma, they also surrender to the Lord's plan. So yeah.
Absolutely, Prabhu. A fantastic point that you are mentioning. That dharma is highest. Life, because they understand that we are a spirit soul and this body is temporary, anyway, it is going to go sooner or later. So why we should try to protect the body at the cost of dharma? It is better to protect the dharma at the cost of the body.
Yes.
So they are thinking that, okay, I will surrender to the Supreme Lord and I will do my duty because that is what is the right thing to do. But whereas if you are self-centered, then what you will do, what is good for me, not what is the right thing to do. So I always like to give that example of Kamsa, that he was thinking, he was self-centered. Earlier, when he thought that, okay, people will glorify me as a good brother, he became a chariot driver for Devaki. But at the same time, when he heard that the Devaki's son is going to kill him, then he immediately forgot about the brotherly love or whatever. He was going to kill her because the center of thinking is myself. So if you're thinking about myself, then manorathena sate dhavato bahi. Wherever the mind takes us, we will be taken. And that is where it is also said that the non-devotees will have never good qualities. Because those good qualities are only temporary, that is visible. When they are put into some difficult situation, they may not behave properly. But whereas the devotees, they are inherently having those good qualities, whether they are in the normal situation or difficult situation. So because they are surrendered to the Supreme Lord, they are not thinking what is about me. They are thinking about what is the right thing. What Krishna wants me to do in this particular situation. What is my duty? So when they are following scriptures, that means they are following Krishna's words. So what is my duty? What Krishna has asked me to do? This is the right way to do it. I will do it this way, irrespective of whether it is going to be good for me or not. Because they know that externally people may think that, okay, I have lost or I have gone down or whatever, but internally they know that Krishna will be pleased with my actions. And that is their focus. So if you are thinking about myself, then manorathena sate dhavato bahi. Wherever the mind takes us, it will be and that is their focus.
That is means that shows that even to understand the Indian dharmic history, we have to grow to that much level to understand actually to understand the history and actually understand. It's all coming from this parampara. So how deeper we have to understand this one. Very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you for explaining very nicely. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Mukesh, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna and Pranam Prabhuji. First of all,
And
apologies, I won't be able to open my camera. There's some technical glitch.
okay.
Prabhuji, my question. First of all, thank you so much for clarifying. It was a wonderful lecture, is it throughout? But the three versions of Bhagavatam, is it mentioned somewhere that these were three different versions? Well, it explains a lot of things. And my question was related to, Prabhuji, as Bharati Prabhu was mentioning that these scriptures or the 18 Puranas are classified in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. At the same token, we say, and I also heard it from His Holiness Vedas Prasad Maharaj, that Bhagavatam is Amala Purana and it's above the three modes, but still also classified as in the mode of goodness. So how do we reconcile the two and when you're presenting it to others? Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. So the three versions are not mentioned, but at least the two versions are mentioned. The third version is you can infer that from how it is written. So the two versions are mentioned here in this chapter itself. Earlier we saw fourth. I think somewhere 8. Yeah, the great sage Vyasadeva. Yeah, here. Verse number 8, 178. The great sage Vyasadeva, after compiling the Srimad Bhagavatam and revising it, taught it to his own son, Sri Shukadeva Goswami, who was already engaged in self-realization. So there, the two versions are mentioned. But you can also infer the third version because he has explained it to Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami has then spoken to Parikshit Maharaj, and Parikshit Maharaj, sorry, then in that conversation, Suta Goswami heard it and then told to Shaunaka Rishi, and all of that is also coming in this book that we have in front of us. That is why we can say that it is probably the third edition. There is also another possibility though, because Vyasadeva can see the future as well. So while he was revising it, he could actually also see the future that this conversation is going to happen, and then he would have included it. So that could also be the reason why all of that conversation is here from Shaunaka Rishi and Suta Goswami, as well as Parikshit and Shukadeva Goswami, all of that. But the other possibility is also that it could be the another revised version. That was first one question. And yeah, Amala Puran. Yeah, even though it is called Amala Puran and it is beyond mode of goodness, at a high level, generally, if they are categorizing things in the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, then it will be considered in that mode. But of course, Srimad Bhagavatam itself, multiple places it is mentioned that it is transcendental. It is Krishna himself. Krishna Swadhama Upagate, Dharma Jnana Adibhisaha. At that time, the Srimad Bhagavatam has appeared. So it is a literary incarnation. And the Supreme Lord is never in three modes whenever he appears. And so from that perspective, it is an Amala Puran. So it is not in the three modes, but it is a transcendental literature, Prabhuji. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I have one more question. May I?
Let us go through the others.
Sure.
Can I request for some comments and reflections as well from others so that we can also conclude it? It is 11 o'clock. Let us take these three hands raised, and then we will probably finish it. Gaurachandra Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Yeah, for me, obviously, Prabhuji, like the reflection were, like the three, perpetrators who in animal killing, like it's obviously
Six
like
ones,
the six. It's a good revision, and one who kills and stuff. So many people, when they join new, they come and ask us, can we do a job in pack and save at a counter, and then even though we are vegetarian and stuff. So for them also, it brings karma, isn't it, Prabhuji? Even though they are like selling, so that even though they are not the owner, but they're still employee, they're still scanning it and just passing it out, so they are still liable for that karma, isn't it, Prabhuji?
So it is not very clear from the 6 perpetrators that they are the one who administers. It is mentioned. The administrators could be the person who's working there and doing it, or the person who's owning that also.
Yeah.
In general, it is recommended though that the devotee should not they should try to take as purer a job as possible, understanding that nothing in Kali Yuga is pure. For example, even if you suppose you work for a power company, electricity company, that electricity company may be actually providing electricity to a slaughterhouse, to a brothel. So
Yeah.
just by working in a power company, you're not directly isn't into that action, but you are still accumulating some karma because of that. So that is why it is said that as far as possible, try to avoid the direct involvement in the 4 activities which are breaking the principles.
Yeah.
So in that situation as well, if it is at all possible, not working in the meat restaurant or doing an activity where you have to handle meat should be avoided by a devotee, because they get implicated in this, and also the consciousness gets impacted as well.
Yes, Prabhuji.
In that activity.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Just one question, last question, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as we know, like next week.
And Mataji, give Mataji also a chance.
She is asking the same question, I think. Okay, yeah, I think it's her question only. The next week being Radha Ashtami, do we have a class?
I haven't decided yet. Let us see. Most probably no. But if devotees are available, we can still do it. It is in the morning. We can do. But let us see.
Okay,
I will let you know in a 1 or 2 days.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Bye. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just a little reflection from what we have read today. So I am totally thrilled by the character of Queen Draupadi. Even after her sons were killed, it's such a devastating situation that has come in her life, and still she is saying that please forgive him, because I don't want his mother, I don't want Aśvatthāma's mother to go through the same pain I'm going through. And I'm just kind of like thinking that here, if I just think about myself, if someone says something to me, I just get completely devastated. They don't do any harmful act, just only, if they are speaking some harsh words, we can just, especially if I just talk about myself, I can keep them in mind for a long time and be, even though I won't say something to them back, but I would be kind of like really sad and morose that, oh, that person has said this to me. So I'm just and it's very difficult to forgive it as well sometimes. So this is such a beautiful thing to be that we can learn from Queen Draupadi, that seeing her example, that how she is ready to forgive Aśvatthāmā, who has just totally emptied her life for by killing all her sons, and still she is such a great forgiveness. I would say she is forgiveness personified.
Yeah, amazing characteristic it is shown by her here, because of her gentle nature. Srila Prabhupada says, Srila Prabhupada actually doesn't completely agree with her because she was saying that completely forgive him or whatever. Srila Prabhupada, if you read the purports where she has actually given those, so it is not agreeing. Srila Prabhupada doesn't agree, but he still glorifies her, thinking, look at the devotee's heart, that they will actually go through the difficulties, but they will not want others to actually go through the difficulties in that. And that is where Arjuna had to actually find a balance between what Draupadi wanted and what Krishna wanted really. And that is where we found out what is the right way to do in that case.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you
Nice.
so
Thank
much.
you. Adi Devi Mataji.
Prabhuji, in terms of reflection, 3 things stood out for me in this class. First one was Vaishnava etiquette. under all circumstances. Second was empathy that was demonstrated by Draupadi. And third was being independently thoughtful, as we discussed, to view through the lens of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And Prabhuji, on that note, I just meant to ask you in terms of the Bhakti Vaibhav, what next is our exam, or what's the plan moving forward, and how are
Yeah,
we
we will
next?
cover that separately in the different group for Bhakti
Okay.
Vaibhav. I'll explain that there.
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you
Right.
for your reflections. Mukesh, Prabhuji?
Prabhuji, I'll share two reflections first and then my last question. Everything was very, very revealing and very interesting to note. But that the thing about the capital punishment, the Vedic view of capital punishment and how it actually relieves not only from sin, a person receiving capital punishment may then not go to hell but to Swarga. That was it was very informative, Prabhuji. And secondly, the reminder you mentioned, I've heard this from you before, but hearing it again today reminds me, I'm talking about Prabhupada's quote that the greatness of a man is represented by his ability to tolerate an appropriate situation. That is something really touched my heart. I've heard it before, but that's something I need to remind myself over and over and over again to become humble. So those were my two main takeaways, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Nice, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, and my question was around Sukadevji Goswami Maharaj, Prabhuji. We have you mentioned in my question to my earlier reply to my earlier question that how Ved Vyas ji had to bring Sukadevji Goswami back to listen to the Bhagavatam. But Prabhuji, from other pastimes, we've also heard from you and other saints and Vaishnavas that Sukadevji Goswami himself was an incarnation of the parrot, the Sukha of Radharani. So he was very engaged in a very intimate pastimes of Radharani. Then we have also heard that he listened as a parrot. He listened to the entire Bhagavatam. Then Mahadev was narrating it to Parvati, and then Mahadev got angry and he ran. And then how he got. So how come from being such a devotee of such a highest class, he becomes attracted to a Nirakar Swarup or impersonal form of and had to be brought back in. So that brings a bit of confusion. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So it is like all of these pure devotees, when they actually performing these pastimes, they are only to actually educate us, Prabhuji. They take this difficult position and sometimes self-deprecating positions to enlighten us. Now Arjuna becoming like giving up the weapons at the beginning of the war. So it is really not a good like a good act. It is not a glorifying act as such, that someone is actually giving up the weapons and saying that I'm not going to fight. And this is the deciding war. And at that time, if Arjuna doesn't fight, the Pandavas are going to lose for sure. Because even though Bhima is quite powerful, he is no match for Dronacharya, Bhishma Dev, or even Karna as well, if the archery we have to see. So it will be very hard for them to win the war. So that means he's just saying that, okay, I'm just giving up this cause. Then Parikshit Maharaj as well, he puts this snake around the sage. It's not a glorious act. It's a mistake that he has done. A small mistake though, but still it is not a glorious act. But they are still talking, like the scripture are still mentioning about those activities. And many times all of these are told so that we can actually learn from it. And that is why this Atma Ramashra Muniyo verse is so important, where Sutta Goswami mentioned that even the liberated people, they are also very interested in Lord's qualities because Lord's qualities are transcendental. Now, just to explain to this simple point, this pastime is performed. That he is in that personal, he's coming from those personal pastimes of Lord Shri Radha Shyam Sundar, but still he is taking this mood of an impersonalist in a way, to show to the world that, okay, I was an impersonalist and now I have become attracted to the personal form because the personal form is much better. It is easier, much better, as well as it is a complete understanding. So all of that we need to actually understand. So to make us understand, sometimes these devotees actually go through these different pastimes to teach us. And as I said, sometimes in a self-deprecating way as well, they will go through to put themselves down. Like which devotee would want to become an impersonalist? No one. But Shukadeva Goswami decided to do that so that we can learn from it.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very beautifully explained. Thank you. Dhamma Pranam, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
I think it is already time, but Sannyas Prabhu, if it is very brief, then we will take it. If it is a
Very,
question,
very big, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in this session, especially, I was, you very nicely explained, and I like this point that feeling from the heart and feeling from the head. So Krishna has balanced both of them, not giving only one as an important. Okay, no, whatever the head says go, philosophy says go. He also managed to see. So that shows the devotee has to, as Arjuna has to always move in the direction. You have to in moving, making the decision in the congregation or making the decisions in the life. You have to see the heart and also see the mind and also see the sastras and everything, and then make the decision that will please the Krishna more than
Yeah,
anything.
very good point, Prabhuji. Reasoning, discrimination, and sentiments, feelings needs to be all combined together. Only then the relationships work. Otherwise, if it is just focusing on reasoning, then the relationships will break, justice will prevail, relationships will break. If only sentiments, then we will have good relationships, but without any good foundation. And there will be no discrimination. You are just, because of relationships, you are doing all the bad things. But Arjuna and Lord Shri Krishna is showing us how to actually bring that together. Especially Arjuna is showing us. Krishna gave some very difficult instruction to Arjuna. Arjuna had to figure out how he can actually just combine everything and then do the right thing. So
I think every day we have to use this one every day with our son and kids and combining all what Krishna is saying and what is happening in the life and what, okay, where are they balanced and what balanced, what I have to do in the life. So it's a really big tough question. Yeah.
Okay. Let us stop here and we will see if we are doing the session next week or not, but I will let you know. But we will, next time, whenever we are doing, we will go into this beautiful chapter where Queen Kunti's prayers are getting discussed. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki